Hello students, in this lecture I will teach you Unit 1.5 Joan of Arc. This unit is a very good example of woman empowerment or feminism. So let's start the story of a very brave girl, Joan. Now let's see the central idea of unit. Joan of Arc by George Bernard Shaw is a play narrating the story of the courageous and undying spirit of a girl, Joan. Joan played an important role in the Hundred Years' War between the French and the English. The given extract beautifully portrays the courage and conviction of Joan. It outlines Joan's bold attempts to convince Captain Robert to allow her to fight the Englishmen. Throughout the play, we came across Joan's qualities that make her stand out for the ordinary soldiers, brave and blunt. Joan's story makes for a good read as she is what we call one of the earliest examples of woman empowerment. Now, let's see the introduction of the author George Bernard Shaw, 1856 to 1950, was an Irish playwright and critic. He wrote more than 60 plays during his lifetime, including major works such as Man and Superman, 1902, Pygmalion 1912 and St. John 1923. He was the leading dramatist of his time. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1925. Now, let's start with the backstory. The war fought between England and France from 1337 to 1453 has come to be known as the Hundred Years' War. So, here we can see that the enemy countries are England and France, and the war they fought lasts from 1337 to 1453. So, this war is also known as Hundred Years' War. Joan was a pleasant girl born in eastern France who led the French army to several victories during this war. So, peasant means agricultural laborer of low social caste. It means Joan was a girl with low social status and her parents had not their own farms. They were laborers and she was born in the eastern France. She also led the French army to several victories during this war. This play begins at the time when all of northern France and some parts of the southwest were under foreign control. So, when this play starts, at that time when all northern France and some parts of the southwest were under foreign control. Foreign control means under English control and Burgundians, as both of them were on the same side. They were together. The English controlled some parts and the Burgundians controlled the others. The city of New Orleans, one of the few remaining French cities, was held by the English. The year is 1429. Captain Robert de Baudricourt, a military officer, is seated at the table. His steward stands facing him. So, some of parts were under control of England and some of were controlled by Burgundians. Now, New Orleans, this was the city which was under French control, and the England wanted that city under their control, and the French were saving this city from the English. So, in this chapter, Joan convincing the captain that she wants to fight against English, so they can't capture this city. Captain Robert de Baudricourt, who is the military officer, seated at the table. His steward. Here, steward means a person who is employed to look after someone. So he was facing him and they had a conversation. Robert said, I told you to throw the girl out. You have 50 armed soldiers and dozens of strong servants to carry out my orders. Are they afraid of her? So, Robert told Stewart that he told him to throw the girl out, and he also said him that they had 50 armed soldiers and many other strong persons who can carry out his orders. And then he angrily asked Stewart that if they were afraid of her. Stewart said, "No, sir, we are afraid of you, but she puts courage in us. She really doesn't seem to be afraid of anything. Perhaps you could frighten her, sir." So then Stewart replied Robert that they weren't afraid of that girl, but they afraid of him. And he added that she gave courage to them and told that she didn't afraid of anything. And Stewart not sure, so that he said maybe the Captain Robert could frighten her. Robert grimly said, "Perhaps. Where is she now?" Now Robert asked grimly. Here grimly means seriously, as he was believed in men dominant world, so he said perhaps and asked where she was. Then Stewart said, "Down in the courtyard, sir." Stewart answered that she was in the courtyard. Robert goes to the window and asks the soldiers to send the girl up. Then Robert goes near window and asks his soldier to send that girl up where he was. Then girl enters. She is a well-built, strong country girl of 17 to 18 years. She squires glare, neither frightens her nor stops her. She speaks confidently. Then the girl entered. Here it is described how was the girl. She was well built, strong country girl who was 17 to 18 years old. Here we can see that squire means a person of high rank. As we know, Captain Robert was a high rank military officer. And glare. Here glare means angry stare or shining personality. So that girl was not afraid of that highly ranked military man and his glare personality and spoke very confidently. "Good morning," John said. "Captain Squire, you are to give me a horse and armor and some soldiers and send me to the Dauphin." So she wished Captain Robert good morning and told him that she wanted a horse and armor. Here we can see that armor means protective clothing of metal or leather worn in battles by soldiers in former times. So she wanted a horse, armor and some soldiers, and she wanted her to be sent to the Dauphin. So here Dauphin means the oldest son of the king of France, the one who would become the king after his father. So John wanted to meet the Dauphin so that she could fight with English soldiers in above lines. We can see that she was seriously demanding all these things from the Captain Robert. Robert said, "This girl is mad. Why didn't you tell me so, you blockhead?" Captain Robert became angry now and said that this girl is mad, and angrily asked the steward why he hadn't told him all these things and said, "You blockhead." Here we can see that blockhead means a stupid person. So Robert became more angry. Stewart said, "Sir, do not anger her. Give her what she wants." So, from this line we can see that Stewart was more afraid of her than Robert. So he said, "Sir, don't make her angry and give her what she wants." Robert said, "I shall send you back to your father with orders to put you under lock and key." Now, Robert became more angry and told Joan that he would send her back to her father and put her under lock and key. So lock and key means he would lock her in a place from where she couldn't escape. John said, "You think you will squire, but it won't happen that way. You said you would not see me, but here I am." Now, here we can see that in above lines, John spoke very confidently and said with arrogance to Robert that he thought he would do that, but this would not happen to lock her. He said before he would not see her. Now she was there in front of him. Robert said, "So, you are assuming that I will give you what you want?" Now Robert told John that she was assuming. Here we can see that assuming means taking for granted, and said she thought that Robert would give her what she wanted. John said, "Yes, squire, continuous busily. A horse will cost 16 francs. It is a big amount of money, but I can save it on the armor. I don't need beautiful armor made to my measure. I can find a soldier's armor that will fit me well enough. I shall not want more soldiers. The dauphin will give me all I need to free Orleans." So now, as we know that Joan was so confident and brave girl, she said in a busy manner, "Yes, squire." She also said that a horse would cost 16 francs. So francs is the French currency. She added that it was a big amount of money at that time, but she could save money on armor. She was desperate to fight against English armies, so she said she didn't want a beautiful armor of her measure, of her size. She said she was okay with any soldier's armor and she didn't want more soldiers. Also, the dauphin would give her more soldiers. All she wanted to free Orleans from the England. Robert, shocked, said, "To free Orleans?" Now Robert was shocked after hearing all this. He exclaimed with shock that to free Orleans? John simply said, "Yes, squire. 3 men will be enough for you to send with me. Polly and Jack have promised to come with me." John simply answered Robert, "Yes," and also said that 3 men will be enough for Robert to send with her. And she added that Polly and Jack had promised to come with her. Now we will see who is Polly and Jack. Robert said, "You mean Monsieur de Poligny?" Robert was literally shocked. He said, "You mean Monsieur?" Here, Monsieur is a French word used for Mr. He said, "You are calling Polly to Mr. de Poligny?" John, "Yes, squire, Jack will come willingly. He is a very kind gentleman and gives me money to give to the poor. I think John Godsev will come, and Dick the archer, and their servants, John of Honcourt and Julian. There will be no trouble for you, squire. I have arranged it all. You have to only give the order." Now John simply said yes, and Jack would also come willingly, means he would come without any hesitation. She also said that Squire Jack is a very kind gentleman and he gave her money to give to poor. So he helped John like this, and she said John Godsev will also come with her, and Dick the archer and his servants, John of Honcourt, Julian. So all these persons will go with her. And she added that to Robert that there would be no trouble for him. She had arranged all, and the only thing Robert had to do was to give order to fight for Orleans. Robert, to these three words, said, "Is this true about Monsieur de Poligny?" Now Captain Robert was surprised at John's intentions to fight for Orleans. So Robert asked Stewart if that was true about Monsieur de Poligny. Stewart eagerly replied, "Yes, sir, and about Monsieur de Metz too. They both want to go with her." Now, Stewart replied eagerly that, "Yes, sir, and about Monsieur de Metz too. They both wanted to go with John." Robert goes to the window and shouted into the courtyard that, "Send Monsieur de Poligny to me, will you?" He turns to John, "Get out and wait in the yard." Now Robert was shocked, and then he went to the window and shouted into the courtyard to send Monsieur de Poligny to him. Then he turned towards John and ordered her to get out and wait in the yard. John, smiling brightly at him, and said, "Right, Squire." She goes out. Now, John was happy, and she brightly smiled at Robert and went out. Robert said to the steward, "Go with her, stay within call, and keep your eye on her. I shall have her up here again." The steward retreats hastily. Bertrand de Poligny, a French guard, enters, salutes, and stands waiting. Now, the Robert ordered Stewart to go with John and told him to stay with her. Still, he could call her back as he would have her there again. Then the steward retreats hastily. Here we can see that retreat hastily means moves away in a hurry. Then entered the Poligny, a French guard, entered there, salutes, and stood there waiting. Robert said, "She says you, Jack and Dick have offered to go with her. What for? Do you take a crazy idea of going to the Dauphin seriously?" Now Robert told Poligny and other persons that she told you Jack and Dick had offered to go with her, and for what she asked you to go there, and angrily asked them if they took her crazy idea of going to the Dauphin seriously. Now Poligny slowly said, "There is something about her. It may be worth trying." Now Poligny slowly replied to Robert that there was something about John, and it would be worth to try to go with her to the Dauphin. Robert said, "Oh, come on, Polly, you must be out of your mind." Now Robert exclaimed with anger and disbelief to Poligny that, "Come on, Polly," and said he must be out of his mind, and as he wanted to go with John. Poligny unmoved and said, "What is wrong with it? The Dauphin is in Chinon, like a rat in a corner, except that he won't fight. The English will take Orleans. He'll not be able to stop them." Now, Poligny was unmoved. Here, unmoved means not affected by emotion or excitement. He stayed there and he asked Robert what was wrong with it. It means, what is the problem in going with her, with John? Here we can see that Chinon means one of the cities in France where royal family reside during Hundred Years' Wars. So the Dauphin took refuge in Chinon. So Dauphin was in Chinon. So he wanted to say that the Dauphin was in Chinon as a refuge, and he was coward and he was not fighting, and if the English would take Orleans, he would not be able to stop them from doing that. Robert said he beat the English the year before last at Montargis. I was with him. Now Robert is defending the Dauphin and said that last time when they fought, he beat the English at Montargis and he was with him and he is not coward at all. Poligny said, "But his men are caught, and now he can't work miracles, and I tell you that nothing can save our side now but a miracle. Polenji said to Robert that his men were cowed. Here we can see that cowed means frightened. They were frightened, and now he could not make any miracle anymore. So if there is something which can save us, that is only a miracle. Miracle means John. Only John can save us now. Robert said, miracles are all right, Polly. The only difficulty about them is that they don't happen nowadays. Very important line. Now, Robert did not like Polenji's idea of miracle, and Polenji was clear that the dauphin was absolute coward. Then Robert, as a military man, said to Polenji that miracles are all right, and saying in taunt that but the difficulty is that they aren't happen nowadays. Polenji said, I used to think so. I'm not so sure now. There is something about her. I think the girl herself is a bit of miracle. Anyhow, this is our last chance. Let's see what she can do. Now Polenji said to Robert that he also thought that miracles were not there, but he is not so sure there, and said he thought there is a bit of miracle in that girl whose name is John, and now that was their last chance to win against the English army. So they should see what she can do in that matter. Robert, wavering, you really think that? Here we can see that wavering means hesitating. Now Robert asked Polanyi in hesitating way that he really thought that she could do something. Polanyi turning and said, is there anything else left for us to think? Let's take a chance. Her words have put fire into me. Now Polanyi turned and asked Robert, was there anything else left for them to think? And now I suggested him that they should take a chance. Here we can see that have put fire into me. That means have inspired or motivated. So Polanyi said that she had motivated us. She has inspired us. She has inspired me. Now Robert giving up and said, phew, you are as mad as she is. Now Robert gave up, finally gave up, and said to Polanyi that you was as mad as as that girl. John means Robert was about to allow them to go finally. Polanyi obstinately said, we want a few mad people now. See where the sane ones have landed us here. Not same, there is spelling mistake. It is sane, S-A-N-E. Now, Polanyi spoke obstinately. Here we can see that obstinately means in a stubborn and a firm manner. So, he said to Robert that they wanted mad people only because logical and wise people had done nothing in that manner. Robert said, I feel like a fool. Still, if you feel sure. Now, Robert was frustrated and said Polanyi that he felt like a fool and still he was feeling that they should go to the Dauphin. Polanyi said, I feel sure enough to take her to Chinon unless you stop me. Polanyi replied confidently that he was sure and he felt that they should take John to Chinon unless Robert stopped them, unless you stop me. Robert said, do you think I ought to have another talk with her? Now, after hearing all this, Robert asked Polanyi if he thought she should talk another time with John. Polanyi going to the window and said, yes, John, come up. John enters. Now Polanyi directly go to the window and said, yes, and asked John to come up. Then John entered. Polanyi gravely said, be seated, John. Polanyi seriously told John to be seated there. Here we can see that gravely means seriously. Robert said, what is your name? Robert asked John what was her name. John said, they always called me Jenny in Lorraine. Here in France, I am John. The soldiers called me the maid. John replied that people called her Jenny in Lorraine And there in France, the people called her John, and the soldiers called her Maid. Robert said, "How old are you?" Then Robert asked John about her age. John said, 17, so they tell me. It might be 19, I don't remember. Now, she had no idea about the exact age, and at that time it was not so important, so she said 17 or maybe 19, she didn't remember. Robert said, "I suppose you think raising a siege is as easy as chasing a cow out of a meadow. You think soldiering is anybody's job?" Now, Robert said to John that she thought raising a siege. Here we can see that raising a siege means surround for from all sides and attack, removing the forces surrounding a place. So he said it was not as easy as chasing a cow out of meadow. Meadow means a field of grass. And he also said if she thought soldiering is anybody's job, it means an easy job which can not do anyone. Okay? John said, "I don't think it can be very difficult if God is on your side." Now, John replied very confidently that she didn't think it could be very difficult job if God is there on your side. Now, if we do anything, God is always there, then nothing is difficult for us. Robert grimly said, "Have you ever seen English soldiers fighting? Have you ever seen them plundering, burning, turning the countryside into a desert? Have you heard no tales of their prince, who is the devil himself, or the English king's father?" Now, Robert asked seriously to John if she had ever seen English soldiers fighting, and had she ever seen them plundering. Here we can see that plundering means looting, stealing. So, showing the real picture of the battle, Robert said how they burning, turning the countryside into a desert. Countryside means a civilized area where people are living. So he said her if she had ever heard the tale of prince who is devil himself or the English king's father. So here he described the Englishman and how they were, they cruel and their cruelty. John said, "You do not understand, Squire. Our soldiers are always beaten because they are fighting for only to save their skins. And the shortest way to save our skin is to run away. But I will teach them all to fight for France. Then they will drive the soldiers before them like sheep. You and Polly will live to see the day when there will not be a single English soldier on the soil of France." Now, these lines are very important. Now, the lines which John is going to say is very motivating. She said that our soldiers are beaten because they fought for themselves, to save themselves. Here we can see that to save their skin means to save their lives. And they easy way to save ourselves is to run away. But I will teach them to fight for the France. It means for their country. Then they will live for their country and they will live and fight for themselves, for their country selves. Then he told Robert that he and Polly would live for the day when there would be not a single soldier from England on the land of France. So this was very motivating line said by John. Robert said to Polenchi, "This may all be nonsense, Polly, but the troops might just be inspired by it. Though nothing that we say seems to put any fire into them, even the Dauphin might believe it. And if she can put some fight into him, she can put it into anybody." Now Robert told Polanyi that this may be all nonsense, means go to Dauphin and fight seems like nonsense, but important to inspire troops. Here we can see that troops means soldiers. Since then there was nothing that had inspired the soldiers before, and if that girl John could inspire the soldiers, she could inspire anybody. Robert turning to John and said, "Now you listen to me and don't cut in before I have time to think. Your orders are that you are to go to Chinon under the escort of this gentleman and three of his friends. Now Robert turns toward John and said to her that to listen to him and told her that don't interrupt me. Otherwise, again, I'll change my mind. Here to cut in means to interrupt. Then he said, you are going to Chinon under escort. Here, escort means guarded and accompanied to go with this gentleman and their three of friends. John, radiant, clasping her hand, and said, oh, thanks you, squire. Now, after hearing all this, John became very happy and radiant, clasping her hands. So, radiant means become so happy, and clasping her hands means hold her hands tightly and thanked Robert for allowing her to go to Dauphin. Polanyi said, how is she to get in the royal presence? Now Polanyi asked Robert how John could get there to be there where the royal family is living. Robert said, I don't know. How did she get into my presence? I will send her to Chinon and she can say I sent her. Then let come what may, I can do no more. Now Robert said he had no idea and he also said that she could go there as she came here in my presence and she could go there also and she can also say that I have sent her. It means Robert had sent her. Then she said that Robert sent me and then Robert said let come what may means let anything happen then and he could not do more in that matter now. John said and the dress? I may have a soldier's dress, squire. Now John was so excited, so she asked Robert about the dress, and she also said she might wear soldier's dress, as she is a soldier now. Robert said, take what you please, I wash my hands of it. Now Robert told John that she could take any dress she wanted, and he said that he washed his hands it off. It means he had not taken responsibility for it anymore now. John, wildly excited by her success, and said, come, Polly, she dashed out. Now John was so happy and excited because of her success and told Polanyi that, come on, Polly, and she left the room quickly. Robert, shaking Polanyi's hand, and said, goodbye, old man. I am taking a big chance. Few other men would have done it, but as you say, there is something about her. So now Robert shook hand with Polanyi and said him goodbye. And he said he was taking a big chance of sending them to Dauphin. Now he also said that this task might be done by another few men, but as Polanyi said she had something in her, it means there is something in John, so he is sending them with John. Polanyi said, yes, there is something about her. Goodbye. Then Polanyi also said to Robert that, yes, there is already really something about her and wished him goodbye. So, from this unit, we can see that how bravely and confidently John convinced Captain Robert to go to the Dauphin and fight for their country, to save their city and fight against Englishmen. Now we are finishing our lesson.